Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It is Thursday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. 4 games in action currently, the best half hour in baseball. A short card tonight, plenty of breathing room for us to get after it. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. And we're going to start right away here because we have some in-game action from our panelists here. Jason, I'm going to start with you first. The 4 games on the board. What are we looking at right now or cheering on?
Yeah, so if you see me sweating, it's because I went to the gym. I'm not sweating. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course he did.
We got 2 games on that I'm on right now. I'm on the Yankees minus 0.5 in the first 5. They got 2 guys on with no outs in the 5th, down 1 with standing up, and he's just swinging for the fences. I'm hoping he connects. That would be huge. Then I'm also on the Phillies in the first 5 on the money line. They're up 1-0 in the 5th inning as well. So if you see me a little turning off to my right a little bit, that is why. Especially with the slate being a little bit lighter today.
Anything that we're cheering on right now, Kyle, in these first 4 games?
Yes, I am cheering on those Houston Astros to win the first 5 innings by more than half a run at minus 110. So that's what we're cheering on here. Like the matchups against the lefty Kikuchi. So I'll be rooting on the Astros. And, of course, I'm rooting for Jason to win here. So we'll be watching this. I can't watch the games like you guys do while doing it. I would freak the hell out, and I'd probably get censored right off the air. But I'm excited for today. Nice short card. We got the NFL draft later. Excited for that. Gonna be a good day. And thank you, of course, to everyone. There we go.
Staying base hit. So now here we go. Now we should be impressed. Did we get the third base too as well?
Yeah,
and a booted ball. Should have rounded right there. Come on, run hard, Gardner. Run hard. So 1 run comes in. Second. I think it's actually second and third now. Did he get the second base on that bobble?
No, there's bases loaded, no outs now.
Oh, boy.
Bases loaded.
Wait, they didn't score on that? Oh, man. That's
well, because they were trying to make sure that the ball dropped first, Gardner was. So
we will keep an eye on that. But that is Brett Gardner rolling into third base like a 62-year-old old man with some crutches out here. And that might be an issue, but it's good. Bases loaded here. Let's root on the Yankees. Let's get some runs here. You know what else we're rooting on? 85,400 subscribers have hit that subscription button here on our YouTube channel at sportsbookreview.com. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so we can talk some Major League Baseball. Let's talk about some of these games in play because last night wasn't looking good early for me, but around the 5th inning, the Padres turned up the gas, pumped 12 runs in, and I was able to hit my team total. But looking at these games today, lower scoring here across the board, and I took an in-game number yesterday, which I thought was a decent one for the Tampa Bay Rays. 2.5. Weren't able to squeeze out that last run due to multiple chances. But it looks like just Tropicana this year, Kyle. Nobody is scoring down at the Trop. Help me out with that.
Yeah, I don't know what and it's just that lineup and it's what the Rays do, right? They have all these arms, and they do, outside of Glasnow, they basically just throw out a guy who can throw 100 miles an hour for an inning and a half, 2 innings, and then here's the next guy. So they're going to be, even though they have given up some runs, you sort of look at it like, oh, wow, I didn't realize they've given up so many runs this year. But they are going to be a tough team to score on, and something's going on. Maybe this dead baseball is having an impact more so on those Rays and their opponents and other teams. I guess we could make fun of the Indians and Jason's Mets, of course. We could make fun of them. But, it's weird down there. We got Oakland up 2-1 here. I liked Oakland a little bit coming in here. I think there's some value on that. Bassett looks to be dealing, and I just like the Oakland bats better than Tampa Bay's bats.
Yeah, taking a look here, and I'm going to go back to you here because I know, Jason, you have a play on this Philadelphia Phillies game as we still sit here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 out for the Phillies. Just getting some updated numbers here on the totals. They're actually locked, so not a good time to get the updates, but certainly can't be too high once it pops up. Aaron Nola threw 4 innings here, 2 hits against him. The Philadelphia Phillies, that's 7 hits, but only cashed in with 1 run so far. So keeping an eye right now, looks like now 2 outs for the Philadelphia Phillies. And the numbers do post. Home team, which is the Cardinals, 1.5 is a team total, minus 122. The Philadelphia Phillies over 2.5. That's at a plus money number at 104. And you're still talking about, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, multiple bats to go for the Phillies. Any looks here, Jason, on a team total since they are astronomically low right now in this game?
Yeah, I'd wait for that 5th inning to be over before taking any Cardinals. Let's keep the mojo tight here. But no, I do agree. Obviously the Phillies are the Phillies, and they will definitely allow some runs towards the end of the game, and the Cardinals are definitely capable of scoring some runs as well. But do remember that the Cardinals will have towards the bottom of the order coming up in the 5th inning in the first place. So you're probably better off waiting and maybe get a lower number.
Yeah, fastball just struck out.
This is just ridiculous.
No, and here's the issue with that too, because I'm rooting for you. I'm watching it come in, but if you watch the replay, I don't understand how Gardner didn't score already. It's really baffling to me because the simple fact is you have a guy, you want to be a little, you can go halfway, I guess, through second and third. That ball drops down and then gets bobbled. He should walk home. By the time that ball was bobbled, picked up, and thrown in, Gardner wasn't even to third base yet, almost like he walked to third base. And I know you want to be a little bit, let's just say, not so cavalier because you're going to have bases loaded with nobody out. But Gardner should have walked home and a run should already be on the board. We'll see how it plays out. But now you need a base hit from the Yankees as we root this one on. We will continue to watch these games here in progress. Before I move on, Kyle, one last time here. Any other looks here in Major League Baseball as we take a look at a live line? Just to set up some numbers here for you. Houston -174. The Philadelphia Phillies -220. The Oakland Athletics -225, which is a big number here. Looking at the Rays at +176. Not a lot of runs going on. I actually like this Oakland Athletics lineup heading into today.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that Cardinals live total is certainly live. You look at Philadelphia, they've gone back to being the Phillies of last year. That bullpen's, tied with Texas as the 5th worst bullpen in the big leagues right now through, however many games, 18 games or so, 4.82 ERA. And it looks like something good happened for Jason. Jason is very, very, very happy. Love seeing that face. But I think that team told just wait till Nola's out and score a couple runs on that bullpen. So that Cardinals live total makes a lot of sense to me right now.
Beautiful. They overcome the Gardner error on the base pass, the cash in with 2 outs. That's how you get done. It should have been that stud for you, Jason, right? But now, hold on.
Yep.
It's still the top of the 5th inning.
Correct.
So we didn't catch. That's why you didn't see an explosion from Jason yet, because you still have some outs to go on the outside. We want to get some more base hits by the Yankees here, but at least we are on the board at this point, so that is good news. Why don't we get into the card today and start capping some of these games that are due up here for us? 9:53, 9:54, 7:20 tonight. I don't have a best bet and banker today, but I do have a play that I like on this game tonight. Chicago versus the Atlanta Braves. If we're looking at numbers here, 9.5s across the board. Pinnacle opened up at a -137. That dropped to -130. Looking at the FanDuel outlets, New Jersey outlets, as high as 140. But you have Alzolay on the mound versus Bryce Wilson for the Atlanta Braves. I'll start with you first here, Jason. What are we looking at tonight down in Atlanta?
Yeah, so this is an interesting matchup between the Cubs and the Braves. Looks like Wilson's going to start, but it looks like Tomlin is going to be pitching after him because Wilson's going to be on short rest. So it's going to be a little bit of Tomlin as well. Both of those guys, Wilson and Tomlin, have both really struggled versus lefties. So you're looking at, a potential, game where Freeman goes off again and maybe Albies as well. I don't know if you guys saw last night. It was funny. Rizzo struck out Freeman. It would be kind of funny if both those guys hit a home run tonight. Go to the other side. Alzolay also struggles against lefties, and also Rizzo is going to be in the lineup along with Hayward. So I would think both those guys, or all 4 of those guys, can do damage. But then again, you have lineups that really don't have too many lefties, which is a little bit concerning from that perspective. But I still like the Cubs here. I still think the Cubs maybe +125. I think it's more of like a 50-50 game. And again, Freeman, Rizzo, home run props. If you guys are looking for any of those, you can think about that because both those guys can definitely hit home runs today. And it would just be a great storyline in general.
All right, as we see 2-1 here now as we head to the bottom of the 5th, so we will continue to cheer on Jason in this wager. Yesterday, I know a lot of us were looking towards Atlanta. They really bombed away, didn't get any help whatsoever from the Chicago Cubs. And another thing I would love to see Baseball Institute, if you're going to bring a position player in, find the team $5 million. I guarantee you they'll find a reliever to finish that game out. I'm going to start with you here, Kyle. Finish up with you, Kyle. Game tonight down in Atlanta versus Chicago. Before I get to what I like in this game, go ahead, talk about it a little bit here.
Yeah, and people are asking about home run props, and I think Jason nailed it on the head. Rizzo looks really good here, a nice advantage. Oh, and by the way, he's 4 of 5 lifetime off of Wilson. 2 of those 4 hits have gone for home runs, so I think that's a live home run prop, and I absolutely agree with Freeman. Now, this game's a little tough for me to cap because I think both lineups should be able to hit the ball. When I'm looking at some value here, even though I think that Alzolay, I just like to call him Alizé, whatever. Let's just call him Alizé and sit back on some Alizé. He's certainly the better pitcher of the two, and, we're going to see some weird bullpen stuff here with the Braves, but you are still getting the Braves -0.5 at +115. I could think of a whole lot worse spots to take than the Braves plus money first 5 against a Cubs team, who we all know we don't like to bet on. Then when I look across at the Cubs, we talked about the lefty. I like the Rizzo home run prop. You got a low team total here for the Cubs. It's 3.5. If you go to 4.5, you're getting plus money. 3.5's what, -130 here, -125. So some team total here on the Cubs. I'll take the Braves first 5. I think both teams, should be able to hit. And I don't even mind the Braves team total at 4.5. I think they can get there anytime.
Taking a look at this game, because I think we're now finally expecting what we should have been getting from the Atlanta Braves, a little bit of a cool streak, but that offense starting to heat up a little bit. You're looking at Acuna and Freeman versus right-handed pitching this year. 479 weighted on base average, 449. They'll do damage. So I don't know if Kyle will be looking at a nerfy in this game with some interesting hitters coming up 1 and 2. But also if you look at 7 and 8 in this lineup on a wraparound, Riley, 402 weighted on base average versus righties, as well as Heredia, 491. You don't get a lot out of the middle, but you're trying to project that eventually these guys will get hot. That Atlanta Braves team will open up, and particularly once we got back into hitting weather, which now is taking place through the majority of Major League Baseball, loosening stuff up. But I'm looking at the opposite side here, and not because we're saying, hey, you're just going to try to bounce back from a team that got shut out. Decent weather down in Atlanta. I'm going with the fade of Wilson in this game. xFIP this year, 593. He doesn't have a great track record in 2020 or 2019. And if we're going to look there, he gets damaged by lefties. 462 weighted on base average, ISO power number of 545. Rizzo, Hayward today in the lineup. Now, still, I would like to see more lefties. I don't have an official lineup here on there, but you do have a weighted on base average to righties, even with Wilson, of 391. We're not looking at a big number. MGM, team total 3.5 for the Cubs, minus 140. I'm going to go ahead and make that a nice little McDonald's play in this one. I don't like it enough to make it one of our, Adam Bombs play of the days to try to get after, because I would like to see a little bit better batting statistics from the Chicago Cubs. But I do think if we get runs tonight, Chicago should be able to at least be game in this one and get a few. If they get to 4, we'll be enjoying some McFlurries tonight. I do like that game. Let's keep moving forward as we get through to the card. Yeah, we switch up. Look, we had plenty of McDonald's, McNuggets, fries. Yeah. Time to move on to the McFlurries and see if we can cash those in. 9:55, 9:56, the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers going up against a lefty today. Those Dodgers, Bauer versus Lauer. 7.5 across the board on the total. Opened up here, depending on where you're shopping at. I mean, we had a 153 offshore Pinnacle, which I don't know if that was the correct number. Now sits at 197. Some of the New Jersey outlets as high as 220. It's one of those games where you look at and say, do you really want to go against Bauer in these situations? Jason, you're up here. What are we looking at? Maybe Dodgers, Milwaukee in this game?
Yeah, like you hit it right on the head. Look, the Dodgers, they can't hit lefties for whatever reason. And even, when Lauer was with the Padres, they still struggled against him, and he had some success there when he was with the Padres. I know if you look at his stats from last year, they weren't too great, just 11 innings pitched. But yeah, I mean, he's a reliable starter, or used to be a reliable starter, and should be able to do enough in this game to shut down the Dodgers, who really struggle against lefties. So if you guys like your no runs first inning, there's not many great options on this card, but I think that one would be the best one. And I would also look at the Dodgers minus 0.5 in the first 5, because you do have Bauer over against Lauer. So I do think Dodgers can probably score 1, but we'll see. It's not an official play or anything like that, but I think the Dodgers minus 0.5 first 5 would probably be your best bet outside of that no runs first inning.
All right, good news here for us as we watch. I believe the Yankees have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th, but Odubel Herrera stumbling around the outfield like just about every center fielder for the Phillies does, both in the field and at the plate, allow the guy to get to second base with 1 out. So it's never an easy one when you watch, but with the Phillies in center field, you ain't going to get much action from them. We'll see how that plays out. Kyle, getting over to you in this game between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. If we take a look at some lineups in this game, or anticipated lineups here, we do know that Eric Lauer's on the mound. Not a great pitcher, no statistics yet from this year. You're going to have a lot of righties, but you're anticipating the Dodgers finally waking up versus left-handed pitching. If we look at Milwaukee, not a lot to like, but going against Trevor Bauer, one of those guys with an extreme strikeout rate, it's really hard to back unless you're just jumping in and saying, there's a lot of lefties that are going to be in this lineup for the Brewers, and I'll take a chance on it. What are you looking at, Kyle, in this game here today?
Yeah, and the Dodgers always make me nervous when there's a lefty on the mound. So I agree with Jason. When I look across here, this, to me, is the best shot at a nerfy. This is the one that I would take, no runs first inning, these two, because you just look, if Betts does indeed play, which you see them rest him quite a bit against lefties. They don't like to play him against lefties, and if they do, he's just so much worse against lefties. I mean, literally he's twice as good. He's 2 times better, if I could speak properly, against righties than lefties. So I think the no runs first inning makes a lot of sense. And we talked about Bauer should absolutely dominate this lineup. I love Bauer in DFS. He's expensive, but the upside is absolutely massive. It's the lowest weighted OPS from pitcher to projected lineup tonight at only 0.519 over the last 3 years. So I like the no runs first inning. And if you're not getting a great value on the Dodgers, you need them to win by half a run in the first 5, -150. That's not great. I don't mind sprinkling that. What I would say is maybe the under 4 first 5 in this game at -115 makes a lot of sense. I don't see a ton of runs early. Don't see anything happening off of Bauer in terms of Milwaukee hitting him. And the Dodgers' struggles against lefties are well noted. So maybe a no runs first inning and an under 4 first 5 at -115 makes some sense to me here.
There you go. Moving through the card here, a couple games. We'll get through one more, then we'll have some fun. It's nice because you got a lot of these games in the afternoon, so if we have any time, we can hang out and see what they're doing. Just to give you an update here on Jason's wagers, 2-1 here. New York Yankees, 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 5th inning. And take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies. Nola has a 1-2 count with a man on second base. You hope some of those errors don't come back to bite you, because if Odubel Herrera just walks in, there's only a guy on first base as opposed to second base. But it's nice to have Aaron Nola on the mound to see if he can get out of the situation, and we'll keep you up to date on those. Let's get to the third game here on the card. 965, 966 going down to Texas. There is some weather in the forecast here, so it looks like that roof is probably going to be closed. And a closed roof down in Texas, a massive difference between an open roof down in Texas. Perez is on the mound versus Gibson. 2 pitchers I don't necessarily like, but boy, Martin Perez is one of those 4 innings, 85 pitch type of guys. I just hate the fact that they're going up against Texas. Any other lineup that would have been able to match him and stack some right-handed batters, I really would have enjoyed that, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Any thoughts on this game between the Red Sox and the Rangers? And congratulations on cashing that Yankees ticket here in the first 5.
Yeah, still another one, so not dropping anything yet. But look, we got
Strike out now by Nola.
You got it out?
Yep, out? 2 outs now. Let's go, baby.
Strike him out.
Okay.
So you got Gibson, who's looked really, really good since his really bad start to begin the season. I think he's allowed 2 runs in 27 innings pitched, 4 straight quality starts. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Rangers, you can't really rely on their offense, but like Donnie said, you have Perez on the mound, who's looked really bad, couldn't get through 4 innings pitched in his last 2. So, yeah, I'm looking at, the Rangers plus 105 in the first 5. I don't know if I trust them full game, but, I think the Rangers plus 105 as plus money with Gibson on the mound is definitely the way to go. But then again, remember, the Red Sox are one of the better hitting teams in baseball. So.
No, certainly. And I do agree with you in that situation. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. If you're looking just for a better player, a better team, obviously that is going to be the Red Sox in this one. But it's really hard backing Martin Perez. Yeah. He's sort of, as we like to say, trying to dance around the raindrops, because there's going to be a lot of traffic on base. He's going to be walking 4 to 5 batters, every 4 to 5 innings he pitches. We'll see how it plays out. I'm watching right now Solo Blast by the Tampa Bay Rays. That game is now 2-2. And we have 2 men on and nobody out here for the Philadelphia Phillies. 2 men on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
I don't know if I agree with the move, but
Carpenter's coming up to the plate here. We'll see what happens in this spot, but is what it is. But getting around the corner here, looking at Texas tonight here, Kyle, what's your thoughts on that game there?
I mean, look, you touched on it. Perez is god-awful. I mean, let's just call it what it is. And actually, the Texas lineup projects really well. Now, I will say the projected lineup for Boston has faced Gibson 79 at-bats, 25 of 79, a 316 average. But Gibson has looked, certainly after that disaster opening day, I believe it was his first start against the Royals, if I remember correctly. He's been very, very good, so you got to give him the advantage there. And you look at the bats here. Here's the advantages for the Texas lineup in terms of weighted 3-year OPS here. We've got 20%, 46% for Charlie Culberson, 3 for 3 lifetime, 29, 15, 12, and 5. So I'm looking at a Rangers team total at 3.5, which makes a lot of sense to me. I think they can get there against Perez. The tricky thing with Boston is if Perez does maybe only give up 1 or 2 runs in the first few innings, the Boston bullpen's been very good, the 6th best bullpen in the majors through the first part of the season. But I'm looking at some plus money here on Texas. They're an underdog here, plus 105, plus 104. I think they're a live dog today. And I think their team total over 3.5 makes a lot of sense. When I flip it the other way and pull up the Boston lineup, again, a bunch of advantages here. J.D. Martinez, 11 of 34 lifetime, a couple of home runs. Devers, 5 of 13 lifetime. We've got advantages of 27, 33, 13, 18, and 35% here. Even Xander Bogaerts is 8 of 25, and he's a little bit better than against lefties than righties. So I think there should be some runs here. This game leans to an over, and I think Texas is a live dog today.
Hanging curveball right over the middle, 2 outs, 3-run
They should have never
blast
walked
for the
Sosa in the
Cardinals.
first
That is
place. So
unbelievable.
Boom. And that live total hits, right? The 2.5 live total hits. There we go.
All right, so we got a winner and a loser on the show at the same time. All right, well, cancel it out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's right. You guys are going the other way, but
Quinn literally just missed the Rob too.
Listen, now we'll see if this pops up here as a number. I don't have anything yet on FanDuel coming up, but obviously now 3-1 game. That over/under was 4 live for the game, so obviously it's going to be higher than that. It's hard to try to come back on the Phillies because you figure they're going to get a depressed team total. But again, no Bryce Harper after taking a fastball right off the face. There's not a lot to love in that Phillies lineup, but sometimes you get a number that you just can't sit out. Like if it drops to 2 or 2.5, where they're down 3-1. So theoretically, you got to get to at least 3 runs to push extra innings. We'll see if that comes to fruition in this spot. But just a real interesting circumstance as it plays out live. And it is excruciating watching because at least you picked up the victory first, Jason. So it was almost all right, you didn't get hosed on one of the first ones. So we'll see that plenty of times. But boy, one more out away from a nice little sweep here on the early card. Let's talk about the doubleheader taking place today. And we'll lump these games together. Detroit and the Chicago White Sox, 5:10 and 8:10 Eastern for first pitch in both. Mize versus Rodon and Boyd versus Cease. Any looks in these games? I'll start with you first, Jason, here, because we do have, I really don't love doubleheaders, but we took a look at a 198 favorite for Chicago White Sox in the first game over the Tigers.
Yeah, and that was the game I was on yesterday, Mize versus Rodon in that first game. The lineups are a little bit different compared to what they were yesterday. Still agree with it. I like the White Sox -0.5 in the first 5. It's now -120. So still a really great look. But again, I'm not betting doubleheaders no matter what. So I'm out of that game. But that was my lean last time. So I still agree with it, and you can definitely go and look to chase if you want after this heartbreaker.
Yeah, all right, quickly. I'm watching FanDuel right now. I just got in a little bit here. The team total for the Phillies is 2. They already have 1. They're going to have 6, 7, 8, and 9 forward bats to get 1 run. If they do, then you're free rolling here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Philadelphia Phillies team total over 2 right now. And you can do the same thing if you like the Cardinals. Their team total is 4 right now. They have 3. Figuring Nola is going to be out of the game, maybe with a pinch hit over the next inning to inning and a half. So that's a double-edged sword, which is good if you're looking at totals. You figure Nola is going to get pinch hit for, which would be good for the Philadelphia Phillies. And you figure that Nola will be out of the game and into the bullpen if you're looking at the Cardinals. I'm just going to chase it with the Phillies here at 2, hoping they get 1 maybe over the next inning or 2 innings. Then you can free roll the 8th and the 9th inning just to see if they can come up with an extra run to pick up a victory here. So I'm in on the Philadelphia Phillies team total over -128. Let's get to some best bets and bankers on the board. As I said myself, I don't have an official best bet and banker, but I am betting tonight, and I love to bet. And I'm going to take the Chicago Cubs here with the 3.5 team total at MGM. A little bit juicy here, -140, but I'm not betting a lot of money on it. I did want something where I can get the full 9 at bats in decent weather versus a bad pitcher. I'll take my chances that the Chicago Cubs bounce back, get a couple runs tonight, and cash in and get that McDonald's money. Jason, we'll go to you first here. Best bets and bankers here for tonight.
Yeah, those are my 2 best bets and my favorite bets. I don't have anything that I'm going to be betting on tonight as an official play. I do think the Rockies go over their 3.5 team total against Luke Weaver. Think that can definitely happen. Again, I also like the Rangers in the first 5. Gibson versus Perez. I mean, you're getting plus money on Gibson versus Perez. That's pretty interesting and pretty seems like a pretty good line. And I mean, that's basically it. Maybe I'll put some money on Rizzo to get a home run or something. But for the most part, I'm done for the day with officials. I'm gonna go cry in the corner after this one. I'm upset right now.
He saved all his money for Trey Lance, number 3 overall to the 49ers.
You got the NFL draft too. So
we're going to get to that game in just a little bit here, that Colorado Rockies game. But go ahead, Kyle. Give us some things that we can chew on here, best bets and bankers, or what you're looking at tonight.
Yeah, I really like that Colorado team total at 3.5. You look at some of the advantages there. I think that makes a lot of sense. One that I talk about it, we talk about it, don't love betting double headers, but if the projected lineup for the White Sox stays the same against Boyd the lefty, when you look at this lineup, we have 8 of their hitters with an advantage of 40% or more, 5 of them of 70% or more in terms of weighted OPS over the last 3 years here against Boyd. So if we do indeed get the standard lineup for the White Sox, Garcia, Vaughn, Grandel, Madrigal, Moncada, Abreu, Mercedes, and Anderson, I think that first 5 tonight for the White Sox, I believe it's -110. Let me pull that up. -0.5 at +110. I think that could be some value on the White Sox, but I wouldn't bet that. Just make sure, I wouldn't bet that early. Wait and make sure you're going to get the lineup that you want, get all those right-handed hitters and switch hitters in that White Sox lineup. I think they could tee off against Boyd tonight. And again, I like that Nerfy in the Milwaukee Dodgers game.
Yeah, let's quickly hit this last game on the card tonight, Colorado and Arizona, which is interesting because Weaver comes into the game with a 4.61 xFIP. Hasn't had a lot of success here with both lefties and righties. ISO power numbers are elevated. And the one thing we do know, you're going to get a lot of lefties in that Colorado Rockies lineup. Tapia, McMahon, Blackman, Nunez, Hilliard, a lot of guys here with elevated weighted on base averages. So I do think it's a good look here. What are we looking at this game, Jason? Maybe you could take a minute here to go a little bit more in depth on this one. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so Sanzatella has actually been pretty bad versus Arizona in his career. But then you go to the game that he pitched against them this year, 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs. So that's hard to kind of figure out there. I think you see runs in this game. Every time I'm on the Rockies, they don't score. Every time I'm off them, they do score. So I guess I won't touch them for all of you guys, and you guys can go take the Rockies. And I won't bet them, so I'll let you guys win tonight.
There you go. By the way, we could circle the bases now, since again we had a really quick card to go over on a Thursday, so we have an extra minute or two. Circle the bases we spent on the NFL draft, and Kyle and his 49ers. Oh. Steam is hitting that number 3 pick here with Trey Lance, and that's got to make at least Kyle smile that it's not going to be Mac Jones.
Yeah, anybody but Mac Jones. Draft my dog. Just don't draft Mac Jones. Draft anybody. Take Penei Sewell. I don't even give a damn. Just do not take Mac Jones. I'll tell you what, though, that value on Justin Fields, now we're getting, I think Jason told me before, plus 1,000.
Yeah.
I think Fields is the guy. I've thought that since they traded up for the pick. So I think there's some value there, plus 1,000. And if you're going to bet Mac Jones, I believe Jason did this, and it's smart. If you're going to bet him to the Niners, hedge it and take the plus money at over 3.5. Either way, you should make some money there. I don't think it's Mac Jones. It doesn't make any sense to be Mac Jones. Love that value, though, on Justin Fields. Plus 1,000 makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, pimping a little bit here, by the way. Kyle and I will be live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. recapping all the madness of round 1 with Will Brinson. We had such a good time. I retweeted the show out yesterday. Good following, watching the show. We had a really good time, 30 minutes. So 30 minutes tomorrow morning, grab a cup of coffee. We'll set you up for rounds 2 and 3. And also, if you haven't seen the round 1 show, please go into the archives and find it. It's really good stuff. Real quick, easy listen in 30 minutes. But we will get out of here for us. Before I do, Jason, quick thoughts on the NFL draft. What are you looking at tonight?
What am I looking at? After the number 1, number 2 overall selections, it just gets absolutely crazy. It looks like the Orioles just scored in the 6th inning. So
there you go. Get out.
So we got a little lucky there. But after the 1 and 2, it gets chaotic because at 3 we can see 3 different quarterbacks get selected at 3, and we don't know which one it's going to be. That changes the entire entire draft. So it's really hard to figure this out. And I'll leave it up to you two with the NFL draft because it's chaotic for sure.
Yeah, it certainly is. But that'll do it for today's MLB Mace. Excuse me. I actually have so much NFL draft on my mind here. I couldn't even figure out which show is actually closing right now. But the MLB show, a lot of good times. Thank you guys for joining us here on a nice little half-hour sprint. Not a huge car, but got through it all. Maybe we'll find some gems here a little bit later tonight. But certainly the NFL draft is taking center stage, and we got you covered right here at sportsbookreview.com. Thank you for joining the show today. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are sportsbookreview.com, and this was your Major League Baseball show for Thursday. See you on Friday.